Welcome, guys, back to Journey Beyond the Scale, a space where we talk about transformation that goes deeper than numbers. Today's guest is a beautiful example of what happens when you choose to invest in yourself. And today's conversation is powerful. My guests started their journey feeling stuck and unsure. And today they are showing up confident, empowered, and proud of their journey. This is not just about weight loss. It's about mindset, healing, and choosing yourself. We are diving into where they started, what shifted, and what they want you to know. If you're still on the fence, let's get into it. Hi, Julie. Thank you for coming to our podcast. How are you doing?
Doing good.
All right. Please introduce yourself.
I'm Julie. I live in Georgia. I'm 44 years old. I'm a mother of three. That's about it.
Okay. So, Julie, I'm going to ask you this. What struggles were you facing before you started your journey?
Lack of confidence, just tired all the time, and especially with little kids, just didn't feel like doing a lot of stuff and just felt like I was aging quick.
I know, that speaks volume, especially when you're carrying the extra weight. You feel tired, you don't want to do anything, and your kids constantly telling you, Mommy, get up, let's do this, let's do that. It was very difficult for me too. And, I felt really, really depressed. But with me losing the weight, I felt more confident. And I could see that in a lot of my patients. And do you feel like that's also what?
Yes, definitely. I also I was planning to have carpal tunnel surgery because my hands would just fall asleep a lot. So totally not related, I thought. But when I started losing the weight, my hands don't fall asleep anymore. So I think it was just a lot of, pressure in all the joints. My knees used to hurt. And I just thought, again, it's part of growing old.
Right.
Since I've lost the weight, nothing hurts. Like I feel amazing.
The carpal tunnel one is so fascinating. Wow, that's really good. How did Golden Hands Weight Loss and Wellness help you to feel supported or understood during your journey?
Your assistant, your nurse, Tanya, is very welcoming, and she gets to know you. So I felt like every time I would talk to her, I'm like, I'm feeling like I'm snacking a lot. I don't know what else to do. Like, she was very supportive and very helpful, and just would be like, try this, maybe cut back on this, maybe take certain medicine at a certain time instead of, and so we also I guess played with dosages. Like maybe you don't need to be on so much or not as often, that kind of stuff. And so having her actually listen and, contour everything to me specifically was amazing.
That's really great to hear. And most of the times or all the time, we do our best to tailor everybody's plan based on their goals. So when we know what our client's goal is, we tailor their plan towards that. And I'm glad, you felt supported on that. So the next thing is, what has this journey given you beyond weight loss?
Just more time with my family. I'm the kids in the neighborhood come and they all play at our house because we have the perfect backyard and it's flat. And I'm always one of the parents is playing with them, and they just assume that I'm younger than their parents because they're like, oh, my mom doesn't play, so you're probably way younger. I'm like, just having that, also wearing the clothes that I had before, everything is like a new piece of clothing because you look so much better and very confident. And especially in the summer, I hated the summer and having to go to the pool.
Oh,
and God. I just feel great.
And talking about hating the summer, that was one of the things I dreaded summer because why? During the winter, I cover up just because I want to cover up my body, like the fat. Let me say that. Because I feel like in the summertime, people expose their bodies, right? And they feel confident. But what am I exposing? I'm drawing attention to people to look at me and say, look at that one. She's fat. She needs to lose weight and things like that. And I'm really glad you brought that up. The first time I went to the beach after, I've lost the weight and had all this skin removal surgery, even though I wasn't still confident, but I knew I had gotten out of that zone.
Mm-hmm.
At least I could say 80% confident to go to the beach, have fun, and just live life, and just live life. So I'm going to ask you this again. What would you tell someone who feels stuck or is discouraged right now about losing weight or just taking care of themselves?
So, like you mentioned, a lot of people also may not want to even start the process because if you lose weight, you have extra skin. And, I did not have surgery to get skin removal yet, but I also don't know if I'm going to because believe it or not, when I started to lose weight and like I had like a flop over my belly, it's shrunk. It's very hideable per se.
Right.
Like it's not, it just, and I don't do much. I just walk because I work in front of a computer all day. So I don't actually have this. I think it'd be different if I actually worked out often, then it would just be faster or just tighter. But like my stomach has shrunk. Even like when I go eat somewhere, I don't completely finish the meal because and it can be the most delicious food. I'm like, oh, that was so good. And I'm okay. And I don't eat my feelings anymore. I just feel so much better all around. And, I have a lot of friends that want to do this, but they're also on the fence about like, what if it doesn't work? And, you just have to take a chance on yourself. This was one of the 100 plans I've done and none of them had worked and none of them I've stayed steady or, I actually chose to stop losing weight because although I'm not at the ideal weight for me, I'm happy with myself. I don't want to lose, I don't want to lose curves. I'm happy where I'm at and I've been able to maintain it still.
Oh, that's good. And keeping our curves and getting to where we want to be is exactly the same thing, exactly what I tell my patients and my client. Most of the times, your BMI might say you have to be, let's say, 27. But most people, if they don't look good at that BMI of 27, which is not really a good measure, because if you have, good muscle buildup and things like that, the scale is going to show otherwise. But I just tell my patients and my clients, be where you feel comfortable. And for me, my comfortable zone is between 150 and 160. Anything in between that is good for me. Once I pass the 160, I start panicking because I don't want to get back. I don't want to get back to where I was. So I stay in that range and I maintain, which is, you have to be self-aware and you also have to be self-confident. It is difficult, especially for some of us who have been, coming from a depressed state because we were overweight and we felt judged and things like that. But, overall, I am really glad where you are right now. And what is your last word for the Journey Beyond the Scale family?
I would also say that before coming here, I did shop around a lot of different places. And in many of them, I felt like a number, just, here's what we do, here's this, and here's that. And if you don't see results by 6 months, then you're done. You have to move to something else and that kind of thing. And there was never a question of well, how do you feel? And do you want to try this or do you want to go a different route? And here, you guys have a lot of different options. If you maybe don't want to try a certain medicine because it made you too nauseous, and there's a plan B, and then there's also a plan C, and just different stuff like that. And also again, because Tanya and you are so, maybe because it's smaller, you just feel like it's personalized care. And I guess the way Tanya schedules things, not a lot of people are here when I come. So she gets to focus on you.
Yes.
Which, and at the same time, you want to come in and not draw attention that oh, she's going to lose weight. She's taking this shot. Because a lot of the time I have friends that come and I've never run into them in here.
Okay, that's good.
So,
and we try to be human. It's not about the weight loss per se. Yes, we want to be healthy, but the human side of it, knowing how people feel. How would you feel if somebody don't look at you as a number or as a statistics, I once felt like I was a statistic because most of the times when I go to my doc, you got to lose weight. If you don't lose weight, you're going to be, one of those with hypertension, diabetes, so I felt the pressure and I felt like I was one of the numbers. But that made me change my ideology of if this is what I want to do, I have to look at my patient in a different lens.
And at the same time, a lot of different trends or things that I've done, they would tell you need to eat every 2 to 3 hours, small little meals. And I just don't believe that works for everybody. I'm not hungry every 2 hours. And so I was forcing myself to eat even though I wasn't hungry. And then when I was hungry, like it was just a vicious cycle.
Right.
And so I also started doing the intermittent fasting. And that has helped tremendously. I mean, yeah.
Okay. Well, I am glad you are in a space and a place where you feel comfortable with yourself and you feel confident within. Thank you so much, Julie. And this conversation is a reminder that transformation doesn't start on the scale. It starts with a decision to believe in yourself, to ask for support, and to keep going even when it feels uncomfortable. If today's episode spoke to you, let it be your sign to invest in yourself. Change is possible. Healing is real, and you don't have to do it alone. Thank you for listening, and thank you to our guests for sharing their stories so openly. Until next time, stay positive.
This podcast shares my personal experiences and insights for educational purposes only. It is not medical advice, and it should not replace guidance from your healthcare provider or qualified professional.
Journey beyond the scale, I find my way.